All right, today seems to be the day that Bud Crawford and Bo Mack are talking a lot of smack about Errol Spence Jr., and I don't blame them because that's pretty much their only option. Let's talk about what they have to say, telling Errol Spence Jr. to pull up his panties, something like that, and some other stuff that they're talking about in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Also, thank you to all my supporters that come by the chat, come by the live streams, watch the videos all the way through, like the video, share the video, follow me on Twitter and Patreon. We got another really good Patreon coming up about China today, China in the NBA. I think that you guys will like that. Going to review that situation, give people background on that. Bud Crawford, man. Bud Crawford. Man, there's just no reason this guy should have to be in this type of scenario. He is now full-fledged chasing Errol Spence Jr., and I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that he's chasing Errol Spence Jr., that he's talking about the Errol Spence Jr. fight, that he's telling people, that he's reaching out to Errol Spence Jr. and telling him to pull up his panties and sign the contract. That's fine. I like that in boxing. I like when people talk junk back and forth, as long as it doesn't pop off into anything, extracurricular or anything that is, just unnecessarily violent or any type of drama that goes on with that. I think we've seen a little bit too much of that lately in the sport of boxing, but definitely without a doubt, man, I like when people are talking shit. So my hat goes off to Terence Crawford for saying something like that. A year ago, 2 years ago, he wouldn't have done it. He just would have kind of sat back and say, you know who I want to fight, all of that, right? Implying it, but never actually saying the guy's name. Well, times have changed with Bud. Bud is talking some smack to Errol Spence Jr. through the media. No problem with that. I do have an issue though, because there's going to be an issue about him talking about Sean Porter and saying how he wasn't going to say that the fight was a big robbery between Errol Spence Jr. and Sean Porter, but that he thinks that Sean Porter won the fight. Okay, sounds good to me. Fight Sean Porter. Fight Sean Porter. If you think Sean Porter beat Errol Spence Jr., fight Sean Porter. What's the problem? Sean Porter's dad on, I do believe that was on 78 Sports TV's channel, said that Sean Porter would fight Terence Crawford. Why not make that fight? Terence Crawford is going to be fighting supposedly his mandatory, it's assumed that Terence Crawford is going to be fighting his mandatory Aegis Kalvanakis. Right? Errol Spence Jr. is going to be fighting Danny Garcia. Seems like around the same time that he fights Danny Garcia, or in Terence Crawford's next fight, he can get Sean Porter. That seems to be a reasonable solution. Saying this, and see, this is what I've done. I've said this pretty much since maybe a few months now. I've been saying this. At a certain point in time, it's not enough for Terence Crawford to be considered the best pound for pound fighter in the world, because I do consider him the best pound for pound fighter in the world, without a doubt. Pound for pound. But as I tell people on my live streams, when we argue back and forth, shout out to my man Drink More Water, Woolbag, and all the other local Terence Crawford fans, that pound for pound is just hypothetical. He's going to have to fight somebody. And I don't even think that it is fair for Terence Crawford to the other welterweights, for Terence Crawford to continue to fight nobody, but yet get the fight, and wait around to the end of either Errol Spence or Manny Pacquiao cleaning up all the belts and be sitting right there waiting for them at the end. Like Terence Crawford is the grand prize in this. Now, I want to see the fight, and I do think that Terence Crawford has has a chance to beat Errol Spence. Just like I think Errol Spence will beat Terence Crawford, because I don't think that style. I think that same style that Errol Spence Jr. fought against Sean Porter is just as much trouble for Terence Crawford as it is with Sean as it was for Sean Porter. Sean Porter did not get out of that fight unscathed and got dropped because the guy put so much pressure on him. But that aside, hey man, good job, Terence Crawford. But now you got to fight somebody. And unfortunately, the person that, I don't know, is this fortunate or unfortunate, but the person that Terence Crawford needs to be telling to pull his panties up is Bob Arum. Bob Arum, pull your panties up or dig in your pockets and make a fight with Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, with Terence Crawford and Sean Porter. If you can't get the Errol Spence Jr. fight right now, which means, hey, Bob, because Bob's going to make money off that. Now, I do believe if that fight could be made after maybe a few more fights, that Bob Arum might make that fight. Before, I wasn't so confident because, it's Bob Arum. So I take everything he says with a grain of salt, right? He says that he thinks Vasily Lomachenko is the best fighter since a young Muhammad Ali in one interview. But then on Barbershop Conversations with Fred, he says he knows Terence Crawford's a better fighter, but Vasily Lomachenko is more marketable. So, I just don't know which way to go with Bob Arum. But Bob Arum is the person that Terence Crawford needs to talk to and be able to convince him to make a fight between Terence Crawford and a major welterweight. If Bob Arum is willing to work, and it's possible to work with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury with Al Heyman, if they believe it's possible to work with Errol Spence Jr. with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., then why wouldn't it be possible to make a fight between Terence Crawford and Sean Porter? At this point in time, man, I'm advocating heavily for a fight between Sean Porter and Terence Crawford, because I want to see if Terence Crawford is a real deal against the top welterweight. Jose Benavidez, I'm not going to call him Peg Leg Benavidez today, even though by mentioning it, I guess I kind of did. So whatever. Peg Leg Benavidez, Amir Khan, and Jeff Horn are not considered by anybody to be top welterweights. And Terence Crawford did beat them, but that's what Terence Crawford's supposed to do. Terence Crawford's supposed to beat Jose Benavidez. Terence Crawford's supposed to beat Amir Khan. There isn't anybody, any of the top welterweights that I wouldn't take to beat all those three guys in the same fashion that Terence Crawford beat them, just as easily. I would take Danny Garcia to beat Amir Khan just as easily as Terence Crawford did. I would take Danny Garcia to beat Jeff Horn just as easily, if not more easily, than Terence Crawford did. And definitely Jose Benavidez. I would say Sean Porter beats all three of those guys just as easily as Terence Crawford has. Sean Porter gave Errol Spence Jr. a tough fight. Errol Spence Jr., he gave Sean Porter a tough fight. Some people think he beat Keith Thurman. Some people think Sean Porter beat Keith Thurman. This is the fight that needs to be made. It's right there. It's right there for Bud. And there shouldn't be any excuses as to why he doesn't take the fight, or Bob Arum doesn't take the fight, doesn't try to make that fight. Errol Spence Jr. is a fight everybody wants to see. Errol Spence Jr. was just in a war with Sean Porter. He was just in a war with Sean Porter. Before that, he fought somebody that I believe would beat everybody that Terence Crawford beat at 147 and below as well in Mikey Garcia. Right? There's not much difference between, let me not go overboard, because I definitely believe that Terence Crawford will beat Mikey Garcia. However, just imagine for a second that Mikey Garcia didn't go straight to Errol Spence Jr. and Mikey Garcia went to Amir Khan and Jose Benavidez first and fought for the WBO belt. Mikey Garcia would more than likely be the WBO champion and have defended it a few times, just like Terence Crawford did. I think it's time that people put a little bit of pressure on Bob Arum to make another great fight that we can see. And it's not just as some way to, for Terence Crawford to earn a fight with Errol Spence Jr., but it's also a way for boxing fans, in the situation that we're actually in, to be able to get a fight that we would want to see. I would be extremely excited about an Errol Spence Jr. a Terence Crawford Sean Porter fight. Extremely excited about it. Let's make the fight. And telling Terence Crawford telling Errol Spence to pull up his panties. Hey man, Terence, pull up your panties, or pull up on my man KQKC. Pull up on Pamper Bob and tell him to come up off the money. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, I'm out.